Today I would like to discuss some very interesting things that we get asked in Africa when we go home. Now, usually when we take a trip back home, we have things in mind, we have excitement, we are full of adrenaline, and surprisingly, you get questions that are very bizarre but also very cool. Now, I have a good man, a very good friend of mine, award-winning journalist, and also a comedian. His name is Ajak Deng Chenko. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yeah, that's the right one.
Now, how do you guys pronounce it compared? Because I'm a god, and obviously
Chianco.
Chenko.
Yeah, Chianco.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much for joining me, Ajak. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, I'd first like to ask you if you can share a little bit about your journey. How did you come to this very beautiful country called Australia?
First of all, thank you, Agum, for the opportunity that you gave me, and I'm also proud that I'm your guest because I've always been supportive of your own dreams. Because somebody who knows you, I think it has been more than 5 years that I've seen you actually trying to make sure that something come out of your dream of having a talk show. I think this is a good opportunity for you to be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
So thank you, and I will always wish you to continue with that because we need Oprah of South Sudan. We need Ellen DeGeneres of South Sudan. So that is a very important moment for me. Again, to those who don't know me, I'm a journalist, I'm a broadcaster and working for SBS, but I'm going to talk today as myself. I'm not representing my organization, so anything that I say here is a personal view of things and also talking only on my capacity. But my background is that I'm a producer, an executive producer for the SBS Dinka program.
And you've been working there for
This is my seventh year now. I will be up. This is my 7th year.
Wow.
And I'm one of the few journalists who have covered South Sudan extensively.
Yeah.
With over 200 interviews with politicians. And so I think that's all about myself. I came to Australia in 2006. And that was after I've spent 10 months in Juba because I went back to Juba in 2005 and then left Juba on the June of 2006, then arrived in Australia on the 3rd of August 2006. The same year on the 3rd of August, that's when I went on air for first time in 2013.
Wow.
The day I came to Australia, 2013 on SBS things. As per my education as well, I've done a bit of multimedia studies, and I'm a journalist by passion. A lot of in-job training. Yeah. But my background is that I'm a graduate of IT studies. I've done a lot in photography and videography and also and then a lot of blogging and I was an activist before, so I've done a lot of activism with South Sudan.
Which section?
As a youth.
Youth?
As a youth, I've been activist during referendum here. I'm one of the people who did well with the civic education on the referendum. I've myself trained over 2,000 voters.
Wow.
On my personal capacity.
Wow.
So I'm a super volunteer.
You describe yourself as a traditionalist.
Very.
So you are very traditionalist. Can you just enlighten us a little bit about what you meant?
Being a traditionalist is a concept that I'm a proud South Sudanese.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to let the world know the uniqueness of South Sudan. Take example of two major tribes, or I will give you example the Nilotics, two major tribes, the Nuer and the Dinka. These communities are very, very complex. they have in Dinka by themselves is a nation within a tribe, because they have different regions, different dialects, different cultural practices, and different cultural dances. You take example, Aga totally got different dances compared to Yerul, and then you go to Gongarol, Kachol got different dances compared to Rek, and then Malwal got different dances compared to the Padang communities. And within Padang, you got the Abia community got different dances, and then the rest of the Padang. Go to the same Nuer in Eastern Nuer, whereby you talk in Eastern Nuer there is the Jokany Duar, and then in East, which is Jokany is a combination of Gajuk and Gajak, and then the Lao communities. They also got different cultures.
Yeah.
And then compared to the Western Nuer, where the Bull, where Dr. Riek Machar, people like Taban Dengai come from, when you compare these people, they are Nuerians, but they got different cultural practices. So what I always wanted to know is what are the best things these communities do. And I'm always, if I get a guy dancing, I will jump. If I get Barry dancing, so I can say that I perform all the South Sudanese dances.
Well, I haven't seen you do a Eurolease dance or a guard dance, but you did.
I can jump.
Previously, you did. You can jump.
I can jump.
You can
We call it Rito.
Well, how about we do a bit and you do that later? But
I can jump agar. I can do shuluk. I can do Anuak very well, because I'm a speaker of Anuak as well.
Oh, do you?
I speak Anuak language.
Wow.
And that means because I speak Anuak, I can understand a bit of Acholi, a bit of Luo.
Did you live in the area?
I've taught in the area.
Oh, okay.
I went there for a year.
Taught. Oh, wow.
I can sing, I can dance.
And you can also make people laugh.
Yes,
well,
that's a hidden talent.
That's a hidden talent, but I am actually interested in that talent. So think about a joke that you can tell us maybe later on at the end.
And that would be again is I'm always like, because women are the most fascinating. South Sudanese women are the most fascinating one, and they got a lot of things that can make comedy. So I always, especially take example with the hair, they're always competing. Who got the better hair? Who bought it in a better place? The other one is saying got it from Nairobi. The other one is saying got it from Dubai. The other one is saying get it from somewhere expensive. So they are just, so you will find in that one thing that will make if somebody saw a gum wearing
like
the clothes, the
now.
same clothes. I'll be saying, hey, in Dinka. Nya ne chala yo ke chala ndia chitawa ko kwa landia no are na ga.
Generally speaking, when you go home, a lot of the time, people are interested to hear things about where you come from. Say, for example, if you come from Australia, they want to know some very interesting things. Now, I personally have got questions about, say, for example, is money really that easy? Like people say, we have money. We have money. You go to the ATM and you get money out. But actually, there is a structure there. Like, what is different between this country or this life and the life we have back home that people should understand?
Look, I have been to South Sudan for first time again back in 2011 to celebrate the independence of South Sudan. And people got these questions. But let's take it back between me and you. When we were coming here, or when we came to the West for first time, there was that perception that things were free. So because I remember when I was in Kakuma, people will say beer is free, milk is free, everything is free. So we developed this mentality that everything is free when we come. Those who have arrived in the Western world, come and learn things are actually very hard. But when we go back, this perception that we used to have is actually still with those people. That's why they ask, do you have the money? Is the money easy to get? But the reality is that that they have to get from us is that life is very hard in the Western world. It is not as easy as people think. I just realized that in South Sudan, that's where things are very easy. Look,
True.
people
I
sleep
agree.
in very expensive hotels, a hotel that I cannot afford. I heard that people go spend. I've never been to a hotel in South Sudan because it's $200 a night. Some of them are $300 a night. Here in Sydney, Sydney, which is expected to be the Australia expensive or Gold Coast, you cannot get a hotel like that if you are not a billionaire or millionaire. You will get a hotel, maybe a motel here, which is actually the standard of what is there overseas. You will get it at $79, $110, $120. So why? Because the money that you are paid. Take example, if you paid a hotel of 200 a day,
yeah.
a night.
Yeah.
That is the money. That is the money for white collar jobs, employees here per day. You have actually given out all your salary. So the way they perceive their life in here is very simple. It's totally misconception. We are suffering. The only time you get off your stress now is when you go back to South Sudan and go to the village, because you are not worried of the camera on the street, because that is the bills coming. You are not worried of food. You are not worried of
car tickets,
car tickets,
fines,
bus. You are not worried of that. Another thing, the month that but you are also worried when you are coming back because your car is here.
Yeah.
You don't know who is driving it. You don't know whether you will be getting some bills. When the time for the car expired, you are expecting to come and pay another $800. And if you don't do that,
who knows?
You will not go on the street.
Pretty much. And I have to say too, when I go back home, right now, I actually, because I really want to experience my culture, I want to actually have that feel that I used to, experience back in the day before I came here. And I'm most likely that I will go downtown and get one of those huts and sleep in the huts.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
That's
I would rather sleep in the hut and have this smell, the beautiful.
That's what I did when I went. I went to the village and I was with my mom.
Yeah.
And I have no lights. And do you know that? I got the best memories of that moment. But the funny thing is that is this Agum. Those South Sudanese, those Junubin who are in East Africa, when they go to South Sudan, they are the one who want to sleep in big hotels. And I'm saying, if we can come from a Western world,
we do have the people
we are
do
more
have
humble.
Preferences. I think there's people who want to. Even here, there's hotels that you can rent up to 1,000 or even more. So it really depends with one's preference.
I'm telling you, the president of South Sudan is supposed to get $60,000 a year. $60,000 a year. That is the original salary. But now, if you come down to staffs that are very junior, what they can get a year. Some of the top, maybe civil servant, what they can get a year is about $12,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now, how do you pay $12,000 a year? How do you stay in a hotel and expect to have good life? And some of them, our culture. Some of them have 3 wives, 4 wives.
Exactly. Can we get to that too? Well, saying that, I would actually like to highlight a little bit about that, because there are some issues around families right now. There's, and I'm sure a lot of people back home know this. Like, people would say, why do people come to Australia and then they have broken relationships and all that? But in your opinion, what would be your take
why our
around
families
that?
are breaking up?
Yes.
This is a very interesting topic, Agum. Why? Because our families are breaking up, and it's even going to be worse.
Do you think it's only Western world?
It is not. It is not in West. It's going to be worse in the Western world. That is one thing that I want to say. And then the question is, why is it getting worse, and why? It is because of the cultural structure that we came in. When my mother and your mother, when they were married back in South Sudan, they have one expectation in their life.
To be fed and to be looked after.
Now, not even that.
Yeah.
They are going to their families, and the biggest vision in their mind is that to have a successful family and to have children. And also to make sure that her children, when they are going to grow up, they have influential role within the community. So they are determined to do their best regardless of the suffering that they have to their own children. When we came into the West, there is a new layer. A new layer came in.
And that layer
and the layer is what we are expecting, husband and wife. The wife need to be looked after. She need to be well respected. She need to be praised. She need to be called darling. She need to be what? But some men are very conservative. They want to still be Sudanese. They want to be what? Another thing have changed. We are only in the house with the wife and children. So when the man now don't help, you want to the children got die first. If you are a caring man, you need to help your own wife.
Yeah.
Another thing, because if she goes to work, and then you are staying at home, going to school, you have the role now to help cook, or even help clean, or even vacuuming.
And
but
help
now
the kids too.
all these things actually become now a big problem in our community. Why? Because we are not able we have not developed the mutual understanding on how to resolve this problem, and that's why tension become big, and then children are the victim of our own failure. So this is what is happening.
But
we need to have the understanding that things are changing. Another thing is that we are in a Western world where divorce is part of the culture. So when you are married to a man, and you think that things are not going right, it is absolute right to you as a person to say, look, I can give it a stop. This is the end of it.
Yeah.
And I will have another way to go. Back home, you don't have that. You can do that.
No choice.
You have that choice, but you will leave children.
To allow for someone or for a woman to actually say that, yes, I am going to divorce this person, you need to go through a very turbulent experience
Even here.
Here, you can say it's lighter sentence.
No, it is, back home, if you have convinced your parents.
Yeah, but to be able to convince your parents and the wider community, it requires a woman to go to extreme, to experience extreme, to be able to be accepted.
No, it is not extreme. I'm telling you, even here is difficult. Take example in Victoria. If you want to divorce, you need 12 months of separation, right? With the certificate that you have been mediated, and then it is not possible, then the court can go ahead and make a...
That is here.
That is here. But back home, what you need to do is that you go to your family, your husband's family, and say, look, I'm fed up. I am done with this. And when they try, they convince you, and you are not able to be convinced, they send you to your family. You go and sit down with your family. When your family is convinced that it is done, you come back now, you go to court.
And that is very much a very hard topic to discuss because I have a background in the area and I could passionately talk about this, and but we will leave that as it is. But I would like to talk about some of the advantages we have in this country, and things that are challenging us. I mean, I'd really like to talk about both sides, even though we don't have enough time, but just to highlight a little bit. Look, in your opinion.
Agum, I have to tell you, one of the best things that has happened to the South Sudanese who have come to Australia is that they have come to a blessed country. I've worked as a medic in South Sudan. I've worked as a medic in the refugee camp. I know what it is for a South Sudanese to suffer. I've seen children dying of malnutrition. I've seen older people dying of lack of blood. I've seen mothers dying in the hospital because there was complication when they were giving birth. When we came to Australia, none of this is happening to the over 40,000 South Sudanese who are living in Australia. This is a golden opportunity that no any other society has given us.
So you're saying healthcare.
So this, anything from a livelihood, I got my degree. I got my degree from the money that I got from the Australian government. And I borrowed that money and I completed my degree. Will I get that money from any government if I were to be still to be in South Sudan? Zero. No, I will be struggling. When I came here, my children are vaccinated. I don't pay money. Medicare is doing that. When I'm not working, my children are looked after by the government until I get a job. This is happened to us. Then let's look at the challenges. The challenges are that we have cross-cultural problems. When we came to this country, we have a lot of challenges when it comes to how to understand the culture. This is an institutionalized society where everything is not the same as the way we used to live in the village. Whether you're fighting with your wife is regulated by the law. Fighting with your child is regulated by the law. Driving on the street is regulated. Even the food that you eat and how you eat it, you are told how to cook it, because not to get salmonella. And then whenever you talk of anything that you do in this country is regulated. So is that a challenge? It is a challenge for somebody who came from where laws were not actually practical. Another advantage of being in Australia is this: you can become whatever you want to be if you are determined. Yeah. You can become whatever you want to be. We have a lot of South Sudanese now. One of them here is taking photos. He's a great photographer. You are hosting a show. First time Australia is the first country in the Western world to have a Dinka program. And a lot of projects that are being supported. So Australia is a gift to South Sudan. Now, where is the challenge? The challenge is with the South Sudanese themselves. Because when you are given that golden opportunity by a society, and then you don't take advantage of it by working together, then you are the one failing yourself. It is not the country that is hosting you that is a problem. You are the problem. And that's why we will never solve the breakdown within our communities, the youth problems, the elderly problems, because the elderly are isolated. And also, we seem to be concentrating too much on politics. And the more we concentrate on politics, we are not helping South Sudan and we are not helping Australia.
Yeah, we definitely have so much. We can say a lot about things that we are getting in this country and the challenges, but we do not have all that time. So I would like to appreciate you for coming out. Thank you so much for...
If I would just add something first to anybody who will be listening or be watching this. If you are a South Sudanese, the reason I was here today to talk to Agum is also to let you know what we go through as people in the West. But back home also, we have a heart to help. South Sudan can never be a nation when we don't understand unity within us. South Sudan can never be a successful country if we don't look into each other and say, look, I can support you, you can support me, and together we can have a prosperous country. Out of all this, peace is the best way. Learn much about each other, whether you are a Dinka, Bari, Zande, and all the 64 tribes. Learn much about each other, know much about each other, and then that will be a good thing for South Sudan. And thank you for your moment, for hosting me.
I really appreciate your time. I really enjoyed that conversation. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching Agum Madid Show. Thank you, and that is it from us today. Thank you.